was meant to be a night of celebration, a final countdown, a stage filled with light, music, and carefully rehearsed emotions. Millions tuned in, believing they were about to witness a perfect farewell to the year. But what unfolded behind the stage told a very different story. In the final moments before midnight, when every second was scheduled and every movement controlled, something unexpected disrupted the order. A familiar figure appeared in a place where only authorized staff were meant to stand. At first, no one panicked. In live events, confusion happens. Faces appear, passes are checked, misunderstandings are usually resolved quietly. This time, they were not. According to multiple accounts from people present that night, Shukai was seen entering a restricted backstage corridor shortly before the final segment of the concert. He was not announced, not listed, and not expected. Some assumed it was a late approval. Others hesitated, unsure whether to intervene. Time was ticking, and no one wanted to create a scene moments before the biggest performance of the night. When staff approached to verify his access, the atmosphere shifted. The conversation, initially calm, became strained. Voices were firm, instructions were repeated. What followed was not chaos, but tension so sharp that people nearby instinctively stepped back. Several staff members later described the moment as deeply unsettling, not because of what was said, but because of how quickly control seemed to slip away. Songyun, meanwhile, was preparing just meters away. This concert had been planned for months, framed as a gift to her audience and a meaningful close to the year. Backstage protocols were strict for a reason. Focus mattered. Safety mattered. No unplanned interruptions were allowed. When Shukai was asked to leave the restricted area, witnesses say his refusal was immediate. He insisted on staying. He insisted on being heard. And in that brief window, something crossed a line. Accounts describe sudden movement. A staff member losing balance. Equipment rattling. Nothing graphic, nothing theatrical. Just enough physical contact to turn concern into alarm. Security stepped in quickly, but by then, the sense of disruption had already spread. Almost simultaneously, the backstage live feed was cut. Viewers noticed. Questions flooded social media within minutes. Why had the camera switched away so abruptly? What was happening out of sight? The silence created far more noise than any image could have. Short clips later emerged online. Blurred, incomplete, angles unclear. Yet powerful enough to ignite debate. Some believed they showed an overreaction. Others felt they confirmed a serious breach of conduct. Without a full picture, everyone filled the gaps differently. Official responses soon followed, each carefully measured. One side spoke of misunderstanding and regret. The other emphasized professionalism, safety, and cooperation with procedures. No detailed explanations, no emotional language, just restraint. And that restraint became the story. Because this was not just about a single moment backstage, it became a conversation about boundaries, about whether fame grants access where rules say otherwise, about how personal emotions can collide with public spaces when left unchecked. Industry observers began pointing out the quiet distance that had existed between Shukai and Songyun for over a year. No public disputes, no visible hostility, just silence. To some, that silence now felt louder than words. Why appear unannounced? Why insist on access at such a sensitive moment? Why allow tension to escalate instead of stepping away? These questions lingered not because answers were confirmed, but because they were never fully addressed. For many viewers, the most unsettling part was not the footage or the statements. It was the realization that behind polished performances and curated images, human emotions still exist, unpredictable and fragile. That pressure, expectation, and unresolved feelings do not disappear simply because cameras are rolling. The concert went on. The countdown reached 0. Fireworks filled the screen. But the atmosphere had changed. Something intangible had been lost in the transition from one year to the next. In the days that followed, opinions hardened. Some called for empathy. Others demanded accountability. Many simply watched in silence, unsettled by how easily a controlled environment could be disrupted by a single moment of insistence. This story continues to resonate because it reflects a truth audiences recognize. Fame does not erase vulnerability. Success does not guarantee emotional clarity. And when boundaries blur, even briefly, the consequences can echo far beyond one night. As viewers, we are often shown perfection. Rarely are we invited to confront the discomfort behind it. That is why this incident remains discussed, analysed, and remembered, not because of spectacle, but because of what it quietly revealed. If you've stayed with this story until now, thank you for taking the time to look beyond the headlines and into the human complexity behind them. If you value thoughtful storytelling, balanced perspectives, and deeper insight into the moments that shape the entertainment world, we invite you to subscribe to LVT-SHOWBIZ. Your support allows us to continue exploring these stories with care, respect, and curiosity. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next chapter.